What is up, guys? Rickackis here, and these are my official Destiny Alpha complaints. These are just notes. Essentially, this video is meant to be viewed by a dev. If there is a Bungie dev watching, oh my goodness, thank you. And these are going to be huge things to help you improve your game. Now, again, this is going to be entirely negative in nature, just things I thought could be improved. That being said, the alpha is absolutely amazing. The full review I did on the alpha, just on the general overview of the alpha, was basically me just fawning over the game, somewhat unfairly so, though, however, because there is definitely some things that need to be improved, but all in all, it's a fantastic game. That being said, let's get into the complaints. Number one is by far the most important, and then from there, they're numbered but in no particular order, just to let you guys more easily refer to them. You know, I didn't agree with number 4, or I really agree with number 4, such on in the comments. So let's get right into it. Number one, by far the most important thing, Destiny dev, if you're watching, this will make or break your game, and I'm not joking. Multiplayer and single player must have separate gun systems. You cannot have a gun from single player do the exact same damage, rate of fire, everything in multiplayer. If you do, it will ruin the game. Here's why. In single player, of a loot-based game like Defiance, like Destiny, like Borderlands, like Diablo, like any MMO essentially, the entire point of single player in a loot-based game is to find the most overpowered gear. It's not to find the most balanced assault rifle, it's to find the assault rifle that kicks ass, right? That's the entire point of a loot-based game for single player. Now for multiplayer, the entire point is to have a balanced gun system, like a balanced weapon system that rewards skill. These two things cannot really coincide. So if you have the exact same gun system, what'll happen is you'll spend hours and hours farming a legendary pistol in single player, and then one day you'll log on, your pistol's weak. Why? Because other people have been using that same pistol in multiplayer and absolutely wrecking with it, so now they've nerfed it for everyone. This is actually so game breaking, and this isn't something that I think will happen. It has already happened with Defiance. Almost everyone I talked to agrees that Defiance was actually a pretty sweet game. The reason everyone stopped playing Defiance was they had this exact same thing that I was talking about. They had a linked system. So, a legendary gold shotgun would start to be used in multiplayer, for example, and then they would just nerf it. So you'd log on one day for single player, and the things that you spent forever trying to get would all be weak because they were being overused in multiplayer. And it just completely sucked the joy and the fun out of the game. You had absolutely no incentive to go out and try to get good gear for single player and even play the game, period, because everything was constantly being nerfed in multiplayer and made more balanced, which again defeats the entire purpose of a loot-based game, which is to find overpowered gear. All you have to do, Destiny, is just have a different system. You know, a assault rifle does 100 damage in single player and it does 50 in multiplayer to keep it balanced. That's all you have to do, and it will make or break your game if you do or don't do this. Now, moving on to number 2, there is no trading system, or there was no trading system in the alpha. It was impossible to trade with other people. And maybe there was. If there was, it was so impossible to find that me or no one else I played with or knew of knew how to trade. Like, you think you'd walk up, you can actually inspect other guardians. You'd think you'd be able to trade your weapons through that way, but there wasn't an option to do that. I'm not sure if this is just because it was an alpha and then it'll be instated in the beta and in the final game, but it's worth mentioning because, you know, I assume it will be instated, and it just wasn't in the game because it was an alpha. But again, it's worth mentioning because in a loot-based game, trading is so important that you can't possibly have a loot-based game without it. Like, if there's no trading in Destiny, it just won't be as good. Like, trading is such a huge part of a loot-based game. I really hope they have it in the beta and the full release. Now, number 3, this was a really annoying thing, that switching between special weapons and heavy weapons loses ammo. So for the special weapons, for example, let's say you have a shotgun and a sniper rifle, and you're using your shotgun and you have even full ammunition for your shotgun. Then you get to a part where you're like, I want to put on my sniper rifle. You switch to your sniper rifle, you have 0 ammo. Then you say, shit, I have 0 ammo for my sniper, I'm going to switch back to your shotgun. You switch back to your shotgun, and you have 0 ammo for your shotgun now. So switching your weapons in heavy weapons and in special weapons loses all of the ammo you have. So it's really annoying. You'll like have full ammo for your rocket launcher. You'll find a new heavy machine gun. You'll put it on, get ammo for that, use it, try to switch back to your rocket launcher, and rocket launcher will have no ammo. That is super dumb, and you should definitely, you know, if I collect ammo for your rocket launcher, it should stay even if I switch to a different heavy weapon. I really don't like how it depletes. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this was a glitch rather than an actual, you know, game feature. If it is a game feature, it's dumb. Please remove it. It's just really, really annoying because I would constantly, you'd make that mistake. You'd be like, I'm going to switch to my sniper rifle. This is a long range scenario. And you'd switch and you'd have no ammo. And then you'd switch back and then you had no ammo for your other thing. And it was like, fuck, great. It was just really, really annoying feature / glitch. Now, number 4, Devil Walkers and a lot of other enemies are not worth the trouble for the reward. Like, Devil Walkers were actually a decently hard fight. Now, if you had a good fire team, it would just take a while, but you would take them down no problem. It was really frustrating when you killed the Devil Walker tanks after, you know, 20 minutes of bloody fighting them, and they would drop nothing, not one thing of loot. Now, Bungie, you are new to the loot-based genre, so this is loot-based 101. If you fight a hard boss, they better drop something good. Right? Like, if I fight a Devil Walker, I'm not saying I want a legendary or a purple for fighting a Devil Walker. They're not that difficult. But a guaranteed uncommon from a Devil Walker would be nice. They are, like, I think that's fair. Like, a decently hard fight that takes that long, I was at least expecting an uncommon. Even if not a 100% chance, like an 80 or 70% chance to drop an uncommon or better would really make it actually worth the fight. It got to the point where since they never dropped anything, that it wasn't a fun fight. It wasn't like, oh, what are we going to get if we kill it? It was just more like a chore, and it wasn't fun to do. Now, number 5, terrible interface for inviting friends. Now, this is definitely just because it was an alpha, but it was absolutely the worst inviting system I've ever played in a game. There was no way you could invite people really through. It was the most annoying thing that you could press like invite friends and it would show your people on your friends list that were playing the game, but it wouldn't show people in your party. And it's like, oh, the people in my party are kind of the people I want to play with, obviously. So why don't you show those people? Like, it never did. It just showed your friends, and even then it only showed a few of your friends that were online. It's just such a disaster system. Like, the only way to join people during the entire weekend, for me anyways, was to just go through the PS4 and say join session in progress. Through the PlayStation, you couldn't do it through Destiny, because again, you'd press invite players and it wouldn't show anyone in your party, which again, were obviously the people who you wanted to play with. So that needs to be fixed. And again, that's probably just because it was an alpha. 6, there needs to be an in-game map. Like, there needs to not necessarily be a mini-map, but you need to be able to press a button and press view map and look at it. I don't know if there was. Again, there was a lot of features in this game that none of which were explained basically at all. And that again was probably because it was an alpha, but it seemed like the only way to actually see where you're going was when you actually went into orbit and then traveled. You would overview the map from there and you would travel down, but you really had no bloody idea where you were going. As such, you know, like I went to the Tarnished Coast, I think it's called, like a certain area with the ships. A lot of people didn't even know how to get there because there really needs to be an in-game map that you can bring up, view map, and you look at where you are and where you can go, because it's such an expansive game that it needs to be something like that in order to see where you're actually going. Now, lastly, there needs to be DLC weapons, like Destiny. I know this is early to talk about DLCs, but don't miss this opportunity. There is a lot of variation in the loot, and the loot system seems pretty good. I was starting to see some patterns with guns, like all fusion rifles were pretty similar, all shotguns were pretty darn similar, which it was like, would it kill you to put a semi-automatic shotgun in there? But please don't miss the opportunity to do DLC weapons. Just have either updates, paid or free, that says, okay, we've added grenade launchers now, and you just add a grenade launcher subtype. Even if the current gens can't handle it, please do it just for the next gens. Like, you have such an amazing game that it won't, people aren't going to be getting that upset if they have a 360, and if they are getting that upset, it's like, buy the Xbox One then, don't be such a bitch about it. But please don't miss the opportunity to add, you know, it's Destiny, it's in the future, you're in space, there's aliens, you have pretty much unlimited creativity, and I know you can only fit so much and there's only so much development time that goes into the first game, but really it will keep the game alive so much more if you actually add DLC weapon types. Like, that's the one huge missed opportunity of Borderlands, and that's why for a lot of people it got old quickly, is they didn't say, hey, for this DLC, you know, we have all this new content for, you know, Captain Scarlet's Pirate's Booty. Also, the Hyperion assault rifles are being added. Like, that would have increased the customization of that game by a lot, and they missed out on doing that. Don't miss out on doing that, because again, it will like rejuvenate so much, and starting a new character will now be so much more fun because you're getting all these new weapons, new weapon types added to the game. That is it for the complaints though, and again, most of these things are contributed to it being an alpha, except for number 1 obviously. And if there actually was a Destiny dev watching, again, thank you so much for just being able to listen to these things and hopefully take my ideas into consideration. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe for more Destiny content, and as always, have a good day.